Putin and Biden agree at summit to resume arms control talks.
Here's a summary of the article.
Geneva, June 16. U.S. President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed at a pragmatic, first summit on Wednesday to resume arms control talks and to return ambassadors to each other's capitals after they were withdrawn earlier this year. Putin called Biden, 78, a constructive, experienced partner, and said they spoke the same language, but added that there had been no friendship, rather a pragmatic dialogue on about their two countries' interests. The scheduling of separate news conferences meant there was none of the joviality that accompanied a 2018 meeting in Helsinki between Putin and Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump. Putin and Biden shook hands on arrival before going inside, and Biden flashed a thumbs up to reporters as he left the villa where the talks were held and got into his limousine. The first round of talks, which included Biden, Putin, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, lasted almost 2 hours, officials said. They sank further in March when Biden said he thought Putin was a killer, prompting Russia to recall Antonov to Washington for consultations. Trump's summit in 2018 with Putin in Helsinki had included a meeting accompanied only by interpreters, but Biden and Putin had no solo talks.
This post received a score of 10,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Absolutely no reason to keep as much nuclear weapons as they have now. Can easily nuke everyone in the world multiple times over even through anti-missile defenses, let alone each other. Just a huge waste of money to upkeep them. There will never be a total nuclear disarmament in the near future, but less nuclear weapons will always be good.
The U.S. is doing a complete rework of nuclear weapons currently. It is expected to cost $1.2 trillion over 30 years. With the expectation that the same would need to happen again in 2090. Keep that in mind if you disagree with, batch mimics God and the cost.
Greater than it is expected to cost $1.2 trillion over 30 years. This is why Russia is so amenable to arms control talks, and were desperate to extend New START when Biden took office. They're fucking broke. For all their posturing, Russia is a poor country with a pathetic economy built on 20th century technology and a GDP half the size of California. They could not begin to compete with the United States in a new arms race, particularly with all the money their dictator and his cronies have stolen from the public. Greater than Russia is a poor country with a pathetic economy built on 20th century technology and a GDP half the size of California. The GDP half the size of California thing gets mentioned a lot, but it's still a top 10 economy in the world. The U.S. economy is just that much bigger than everyone else, and California with all the tech companies is its lifeblood. You could definitely argue that Russia's economy should be a lot stronger given how much raw resources they have, but that's another conversation entirely. Russia is not a top 10, it's 12th in 2021. Behind Canada and South Korea. For its population and vast resources, it's a pretty poor performer. Seem when you have a dictator at the head of an oligarchy, it's not so good for the people. But they believe he'll make them a superpower again, or say they do so they don't fall out a window.
Rise up, Canadian brothers. We are a superpower. Rise up, eh?
At least they have some foundation to build on with the extension of this agreement this year. Seems the meeting is going fairly well from outside appearances. In February, Russia and the United States extended for 5 years the New START treaty, which caps the number of strategic nuclear warheads they can deploy and limits the land and submarine-based missiles and bombers to deliver them. Both sides had said in advance of the summit that they hoped for more stable and predictable relations, even though they were at odds over everything from arms control and cyber hacking to election interference and Ukraine.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.